I truly love Boston with all my heart. The work ahead will be hard at every level. We face many challenges, but I've been never more optimistic about our city and our country than I am today. I've never been more grateful to the people of the city of Boston. I just want to take one moment while I have the cameras to thank every single person that ever held a sign for me, made a phone call for me, put a bumper sticker on their car for me, that fought for me, that advocated for me. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank every single person that might have criticized me or given me their opinion or might have told me I was doing something wrong. Because that might have been criticism you were giving me, but what it was for me is we have to do better. I also want to end before I take questions, because I'm excited about this. I haven't taken questions in 2 months. I want to thank you, the press. I want to thank you for covering everything. Sometimes some of us had rocky roads and maybe some tough arguments on the phone, but you get the news out to people. Throughout this entire pandemic, you have kept people informed. You have told people to wear masks. You've asked people to wear masks. You've asked people to wash their hands. You've asked people to social distance. You've told those beautiful human stories. You've told some tough stories too. But that's okay. I want to thank you for being here at every single press conference I've had for 1 year. Lastly, I want to thank the people that are here at Faneuil Hall. Because of COVID rules and regulations, we can't have a full hall. So as the press looks around, we have right now 59 people in this room. And I want to thank them all for being here. I'd love to call you all out, each and every one of you, for the work you've done, and those that used to work for me. But I can't, because it wouldn't be fair. With that, I will take questions. Dan.
When do you expect to be sworn in? And in a short time between the vote and coming out, did you talk to President Biden?
I have not spoken to President Biden yet. I expect to I'm heading off to Washington in the morning. I'm expecting at some point tomorrow to be sworn in. The details haven't been worked out yet.
Mayor, there's going to be, first of all, congratulations. There's going to be a pretty intense race to replace you in the next few months. What kind of role, if any, will you be playing in that race? And what's your message to all of the candidates who are done?
Enjoy the race. Have fun. Talk to everybody. 8 years ago, I was in that race. There was double-digit candidates running, and we're out there running. I will not be playing a role in the mayor's race. It is not right for me to play a role in the mayor's race, number one. And number two, the candidates that are running, I know them all personally. One worked for me. One grew up on my street. One's a legislator. We served in the same body. I served with councilors as well. So it's no place for me to be involved.
Tomorrow you'll be swearing in the first, the acting mayor, a black woman. Soon will be electing a new full-time mayor. Do you believe Boston is on the threshold of electing its first full-time black mayor? And if so, what do you think that says about the city, and what does that mean to the city?
Well, I think that the field is not set yet, obviously, so you have to wait till the field. I don't want to speak too early, but tomorrow's a historic day. Tonight's a historic night. At 9 o'clock, my resignation will go into effect at 9 o'clock tonight. And at 9:01, Kim Janey will be the acting mayor of the city of Boston. And history will be made tonight at 9 o'clock. I think that it'll be a great race. I definitely think, I shouldn't say this because I know the field is, but I think that the person who follows me as mayor potentially will be a first. And that's a good thing for the city. Yeah. We still have work to do, obviously. That was probably throughout the pandemic and the beginning of the pandemic. I think I've talked about this before. To be honest with you, minus the loss of life from COVID, governing this past year up to that point was actually I was governing. There wasn't lots of Twitter chatter, and there wasn't all kinds of stuff going on. People just concerned about their own personal well-being and health. And then George Floyd got killed, and the whole world changed. And the sense of urgency was front and center. I think that, a lot of work has been done. I don't think it's going to be my administration or the next administration or maybe even the one administration after that that will be able to say the work's complete. The work will never be complete. It should never be complete. We have to continue to evolve and move forward. So there's still lots of work to do here in Boston. Clearly, there's lots of work to do around the United States of America. But I am proud of the action that we took in Boston. I think we took some of the first and most divisive action in the city by declaring racism a public health crisis, by putting together a police reform task force. In the midst of that, we had put a disparity study out there to look at the hiring numbers. We knew the numbers were bad. We knew they weren't great, but the disparity study gives us a roadmap on how we get to better numbers. I signed an executive order a couple weeks ago that will help the next administration, Councilor Janey's administration, to be able to achieve those goals, get better in those goals. We still have lots of work to do, though.
Will you be issuing an endorsement, or are you saying today that you will not be endorsing it yet?
No, I won't be endorsing anyone for mayor.
What about your organization? Are you asking your organization to do anything?
My organization is everywhere. They're all over the place. I mean, people are, I think there's everyone running probably has somebody that was from my so-called organization. I think back in the old days, maybe when there was ward bosses, that worked. I think we proved in 2013 having organizations support you doesn't really necessarily help.
Do you see this election as historic?
It's absolutely, every election in Boston is historic, but this one has a little more emphasis to it. Absolutely. Because right now, again, the way the field is set, it's going to be a first. We're going to have a first. So Kim Janey is the first African-American mayor of Boston's history. If she chooses to run, I'm not sure what she's going to do yet, or whoever wins, there's going to be history made there.
Mayor, have you had time to take stock of your mayoral tenure? What do you consider to be your signature achievement of your mayoral tenure? And on the flip side, what's your biggest failure?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if I can put a signature achievement on. I'm really happy with our accomplishments in housing. I'm really happy we inherited a housing crisis in our city. I'm really happy with 2,300 homeless people, formerly homeless people living in a home today. When we had to shut down Long Island Bridge, in some ways that was a blessing, as I've said later, that we created a different system of delivering services to homeless people. We created the Office for Recovery Services. We made $100 million investments in our schools, and Dr. Casilius has been superintendent for 2 years, and we have the highest graduation rate in the history of the city. So there's a lot of good, I wouldn't call it legacy. A lot of things I'm proud of, and probably a whole bunch of other things. Failures, I'll leave that for other people to criticize.
Do you have a feeling of work undone regarding, BPO?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a feeling of work undone. I mean, I think if I served 12 years as the mayor and I was going to leave after that, I'd feel work is undone. I think that your work is never done. It can never be done as a mayor or as an elected official, because what you do is you build off some of what your predecessor did, and then you hope that your successor takes on some of the work that you did. So certainly, I don't think you can ever put a timeline, unless you're a mayor for 100 years, where you can have a whole century of change, and that's not going to happen.
You probably thought when you told your mother about becoming mayor that was the biggest news she'd ever be able to deliver to her. What can you say about what you delivered? That you were nominated as labor secretary and or you served with her?
I still think my mother thinks the biggest news I ever told was when I was running for mayor. She's excited. She was excited about it. I think we're all a little, excited and, not sure what the future brings. So I know that my mother got a call about a month ago from a person who actually drove her to the airport when she was 17 years old in Ireland, and she didn't know this person was still alive. He lived in Minnesota, and he called my mother to tell her that, would you ever think, Mary, I never expected the day I dropped you off at Shannon Airport that someday your son would be the Secretary of Labor. So it's pretty incredible. I'll come right back. Sean.
What should soon-to-be acting mayor committee prioritize? Is there anything that you want the next mayor?
No. The Council President Janey knows what the priorities in the city of Boston are. She's been working on them for a long time as a city councilor and then as president of the council. I just wanted to, we shared all the information, and you know, that's going to be for her legacy and what she wants to do. But she's going to be fine. She's going to be good.
Is there anything that you've been able to achieve further than what you did as mayor?
For me, I would have loved to have built Long Island Bridge, but we're not giving up on that one. I think that would have been awesome to do, but that's neither here nor there. There's lots of things I like to do, but again, you know, the last 3 mayors, Kevin White served 16 years in this city, Ray Flynn served 10, Tom Menino served 20, I did 7. So I think that, you know, you do what you can in that time, and I'm proud of the accomplishments that my administration has done in the city, because it's not my accomplishments, it's the people I work with's accomplishments. And that's honestly how I feel. Everyone works so hard in the city of Boston every single day to do amazing things, and it's their accomplishments, whether it's a AAA bond rating, whether it's, you know, plowing streets, whatever it is, emptying barrels, whatever it is, whatever the function is, they're all important functions to keep our city moving forward.
Mayor, will you be moving back and forth, or are you planning on moving your mom or any other family member?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. You know, we went down a few weeks ago looking at places, and that's all to be determined. So I'll probably have to go there at some point.
Can you speak to this emotionally, how you're feeling? I mean, you're a lifelong Dorchester resident. You're going to be moving to DC at least part-time. Obviously, you have a new gig. I mean, are you nervous? You have trepidation? How are you feeling emotionally about moving to DC?
I'll have to check and see how this gig is when I do get there, but you know, I was saying a little while ago, this reminds me of the night that I got elected mayor of Boston. Everyone around me was singing and crying and hugging and jumping up and down. I just kind of sat there like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And a little bit of that. I mean, I think that this has been a very, very bittersweet last 8 weeks. I have been very emotional in my office because I love the people I work with. They're amazing. I love being mayor of the city I grew up in. I'm honored to have been called by President Biden to serve in his cabinet. And I think, honestly, now thinking about it, I think I just try to get every single last second out of being mayor of the city of Boston. And that's what I'm going to do for the next 2.5 hours. And then I can start focusing on the new gig. Am I going to run for office again? I don't know. God only knows. I didn't expect to be Secretary of Labor, so I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to rule anything out, but trust me, it's not top of mind right now. It's not in my head. Like, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm going to come back and do this. That's not in my brain right now at all. None of that at all. I just want to do the best job I can do for the American people. There's lots of work to do in Washington, D.C. There's lots of work to do around workplace safety. There's lots of work to do around unemployment. There's lots of work to do about workforce development. There's lots of work to do around a whole bunch of different issues, so I'm not going to be distracted thinking about what's next for me. I want to do the best job I can for the people of the United States of America. Yeah, there is a governor's race in 2022. We'll see what happens there, but I think I'll be in Washington.
Were you intending to go for another term before this appointment came along?
Oh yeah, I was running. I had a whole team of people and consultants and the whole deal. We ordered new bumper stickers too. So if you want a bumper sticker, we can give good price on an old Marty Walsh bumper sticker. There's like 2 on cars right now. I went back to the old school.
What's the significance of being the first labor member in nearly 50 years to be labor secretary? Kind of surprising, I suppose.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, when you think about it, it's it's really incredible. But I think that Senator Burr from North Carolina talked today a little bit about when we met and the importance of working collaboratively with commerce and labor. And I think back to when I was running for mayor, I was kind of put in a box, saying he's only going to be a labor person. He's not going to be worried about business. He's not going to be worried about this. Not going to be worried about that. And I think we've proven over the last 7 years that we can work across aisles and get things done while also protecting the worker. And I hope to do some of that same stuff in Washington.
While you relished your last couple of hours as mayor of Boston, I wonder, do you have anything to say about the people of the city about the mayor police commissioner appointment for them and how you're using it?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I was hoping to get that done before I left. We hired an outside firm to look at the whole picture of what happened there. They're clearly doing a very thorough job. I've talked to Councilor Janey about that as well. I would have hoped that we would have had that wrapped up before now, so we could make a decision to move forward. But unfortunately, it wasn't. Now, I could have said to the legal team, wrap it up and let's get it done, but the investigation would have been thorough, and then there would have been holes poked in it. So I'm confident that in the next couple of weeks will be wrapped up. Myself and Council President Janey have had many conversations, well, not many, we've had several conversations about the situation, and now we'll wait to see what happens.
You mentioned you've been feeling kind of emotional, always leaving your own office and privacy. What is it about leaving Boston? When you think about leaving Boston, that gets you emotional?
I grew up here. I mean, I think about my father, my mother. I think about, them coming here from Ireland to Boston, and their first house they bought was on Taft Street. My mother still lives in that house. I think about growing up in the neighborhoods I grew up in and lived in. I think about the people I represent. I think about all the kids and the families I've seen. I think about all the people that we've tried to make an impact on. I think about my coworkers, the people I work with every single day, who I truly love. They're amazing. I think about all the young people that we've been able to work and get them into, we haven't done it, they've done it themselves, but move into higher positions and doing that stuff. I think about all the impacts we've made in their life, and I think about the impacts they've made in my life. Right after George Floyd was killed, I was thinking, like, what do you say? What do I say? What do I do? And there was two people, actually, a young woman and a young man that works for me. And I called them one night, and I was talking to them about what they're experiencing and the emotions that they had. And they were sad and they were hurt. And one of the young people challenged me in a good way, but not challenged me like, you got to do this, but had me think about the situation from her eyes and from the young man's eyes and the experiences that they've gone through in their life, and things that, I think she put it, the work undone. And I think about that a lot. It's learning from a young person who works for me and had the not the courage, but had the understanding that she can talk to me about anything, and she did, and she challenged me in a very positive way. I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss that.
You get in a lot of plans and goals, and then you find yourself quite often reacting.
Yeah.
You have the George Floyd situation, COVID-19, the Black Lives Matter movement. 90% of what you're doing is reacting to things
Yeah.
rather than going down the path you would hope to go down.
Yeah, we did a lot of going down the path, though. We did the first master plan in about 50 years, Imagine Boston 2030. During the campaign for mayor in 2013, people were criticizing the BRA, saying that they're not a planning agency, they're just a development agency. They're a planning agency now. They have more planners now than any other period in the history of the city. They're actually planning more parts of the city than ever before. They're actually doing amazing work. We're planning in Charlestown, we're planning in East Boston, we're planning in downtown, we're planning all over the place. They're doing amazing work in planning. So we've revamped the Boston Planning and Development Agency. We came up with an aggressive plan for housing to create 53,000 units of new housing by the year 2030. We shattered that number. We've gone beyond that number. We talked about wanting to be fiscally responsible. We were able to settle contracts without having to go to arbitration. I settled 2 firefighter contracts, a police contract. I settled all the contracts that were responsible. So we've done a lot of what we planned on. I haven't looked and said, this is what we said we're going to do, this is what we're going to do, but we accomplished, when I say this, we collectively accomplished a lot of what we set out to accomplish in 2013. Still more work to be done, but we accomplished a lot of it.
What do you think about the fact that tonight, and possibly after the election, for the first time, Boston will have a mayor who doesn't look like you, doesn't look for all the guys in that picture behind you?
Doesn't look like you either, so it's a great thing. I mean, it's an opportunity. I mean, I think about, you think about, go back 120 years ago. The mayors of Boston might have looked the same, but they were from whole different political backgrounds. And then that changed. And I think that, our city, Boston, is a city that, we're an international city, I've said it before. We're an extremely diverse city. from different backgrounds and different nationalities and skin colors. And I think it's a good thing for our city. I mean, I think it's a great thing for our city. I think that, many years ago, I think 20 years ago, everyone was talking about the new Boston. There's no such thing as new Boston. It's an evolving Boston, and we constantly evolve. And Boston's evolving again. In 2021, we're making another evolution, and that's the beauty about our city. We just continue to evolve and get stronger and stronger and stronger. Thanks, everybody.